Hey, what's going on, guys? So coming at you with another review. It's the Basement Watchdog battery backup sump pump system. So this is a battery backup to your main sump pump system. So something you want to consider if you need a little insurance, so to speak, as to whether your main sump pump's going to work. If you lose power, this battery backup's going to kick in. And something like this, guys, can really save your basement if you do have an issue. So this particular system I inherited from the previous homeowner, and I did a bunch of work to get the system back up and running. It wasn't running when I took ownership of the system, and it wasn't running for a variety of reasons. I actually had to have this control box replaced by the company, and they did a good job going in and replacing this control box. But let me give you a rundown of the system itself and what it does. So you've got, like I said, you've got your control box here. It's connected to some battery housing, and you've got your battery backup battery in the housing. And then this housing is connected to this pump. So this is your backup pump, and that's going to back up your main pump here, guys. And your backup pump is connected to a detachable float. So you're going to put this float somewhere in your sump pump setup, above where your normal pump float is. So if the water reaches a little bit higher, it's going to immediately activate your battery backup pump. But also, this battery backup is going to activate if you lose power. So if you lose power, this battery backup is going to come into play and activate the backup pump and use this power as necessary. So if you take a look at this control box, what your battery backup's going to do is it's going to just sit there until it's needed. But in the interim, if anything happens with the battery, the fuse, the water, the pump, or the power, you're going to get a warning thrown. And these warnings, as you guys know, usually come at about 3 in the morning when you're sleeping. This system is loud, and it's going to wake you up, and you're going to hear beeping, and that beeping's not going to stop until you come down. And I've tried this reset button up here. Usually doesn't do much, guys. It might kick it off for an hour at most, even though it says reset the pump and will disable the alarm for 24 hours. In my experience, that hasn't worked that way. So usually I just have gone about unplugging the whole system if it's throwing errors at about 3 a.m. and I know there's no power issue. But like I said, if anything happens in the interim with the system, you're going to get these warnings. I see that as a big issue, that it's difficult to silence these warnings, because like I said, guys, it's going to go off at inconvenient times, and it doesn't really give you time to address the issues that are going on with your battery backup system. But really the bigger issue with this system is the battery. So I'm just going to take back the housing here so you guys can take a look. But yeah, the big issue with this system is the battery. So it's actually just monitored by a sensor rod that goes into the second cell here, and it monitors the amount of distilled water in the battery. So just to give you guys a quick rundown on the battery, you can pick these up at Home Depot. You can get the 6-hour, or I think you can upgrade to an 8-hour. When you go get these batteries, you need not only the battery, but you also need the battery acid. So I can't remember exactly, guys, but I think it's about 150 for both. But You'll have to go check it out at Home Depot because I can't remember. So these batteries, once you get it, you need to fill up each individual cell with battery acid, and you definitely want to be careful during this process and wear the right types of gloves and eye protection. But you fill up each of these cells with battery acid, and then over time that battery acid, I don't even know the science behind it, but that battery acid will wear away over time, and then you've got to fill up each of these cells with distilled water. So I've got my distilled water down here. Usually what this system will do is it'll throw warnings regarding the water, and it'll tell you to fill up the battery with water. So you've got to go in and look in each of these cells and fill up your battery with distilled water up to the higher line is the limit, but it'll activate when it's at the lower line. Sorry for the crappy picture here, guys. But you want to keep it between those two lines. It's very difficult to do because you can't see through the white housing on the battery. One quick tip, if you do have this system, shine a flashlight behind it, behind the battery as you're filling up, and that's going to help you get a little bit more insight into where that the battery acid levels are at. So you're going to be constantly filling up these cells with distilled water after you do the initial battery acid fill. This is really time consuming. That's one of the main reasons I don't like this system and wouldn't recommend it. Look for something with a marine battery. If you can get a marine battery, you guys aren't going to be tending to filling it up with distilled water all the time and dealing with all the errors and warnings that are thrown from this system. I've seen a lot of them at the local home improvement stores that utilize a marine battery, and then when that battery goes, you guys are just going to go pick up a new battery. But this system is hardwired with the sensor rods, so there's really no way around it on this system to use something different. But so after my experience through about 2 years and one replacement of this control box, I wouldn't recommend this system. I would go look for something that utilizes a marine battery that's going to be a lot less time intensive. I think one of the main things with the battery backup systems is you need them to be there when you need them, but the less attention that you have to pay to something like this is really what you're looking for. Kind of a set it and forget it. So I wouldn't recommend this battery backup system, but I would recommend having one. I'm going to be going out and shopping for a new one, something that requires a little less effort, but wanted to get you guys a review on the Basement Watchdog in case you have it in your house or are looking to pick this up. I would avoid this particular system. You can see what other systems they have, but definitely get to know your battery backup systems before purchasing one. And I might avoid this one unless you've got a better solution than me. And let me know in the comments below if you like this review and if you've got any tips or tricks with the battery backup systems. Catch you later, guys.